Well, hello everybody. Good evening. How are we? I hope you're well. I am still spinning. My feet haven't touched the ground uh, since I don't know when. I've just come back from the massive exhibition at Sandown, which was incredible. What an exciting atmosphere there was. It was so lovely to meet people face to face and be able to have a natter and put faces to the names. So I had a really, really enjoyable weekend. It's hard work, it was full on, but that never killed anybody, and I absolutely loved it. So thank you, those of you that stopped by to say hello, and I hope you didn't spend up too badly, and I hope you had a lovely time. Hello, everybody. Hi, let's say some hellos. Hi, Sharon. Hope you're well, my lovely. Hi, Sheila. Hello, Andrew. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Sharon. Hope you're well. Gosh, you're all whizzing in. Hello, Lynn. Are you okay, love? Hi, Mary. We had a little chat today, didn't we? Briefly. Glad to see you here. Hello, Maureen and Tracy, and hello, Kathleen. Hello, Kim. Hello, Hazel. Thank you all so much for joining me this evening. I am so excited. I know I say that a lot, but I get excited by crafting. It's what I love. So tonight I have got one of my favourite things ever. This is what I call true paper crafting. It's all paper crafting, but I think of this as proper crafting with paper because we're crafting with paper. And it's one of my favourite things. And over the years, I've made so many things with this. Hi, Mary. Um, oh, did you now? Good for you. Well, there aren't many left, so well done you for grabbing them. Yeah, it is a passion with me too, Sharon. And you know, for years, I haven't been able to indulge it because they haven't been available as products for what I've had to do for work. Obviously, I've got them in the shop, in my shop, but in my professional capacity as a demonstrator, I haven't had paper like this to work with. So this is so thrilling. When Jamie announced he was going to be distributing Scrap Boys, I was beside myself because I've loved them for years. The papers are stunning. So that's what we're talking about tonight, all things Scrap Boys and all things paper. And I've got some hopefully inspiring demos for you. Hopefully get you back on the saddle. Those of you that have lost your mojo, or those of you that need a different avenue perhaps to revisit, I don't know, but hopefully it will inspire you in one way, shape or form. So did anybody catch the shows? Obviously we know Mary did because she purchased said paper pads, so well done, Mary. I'm sure she wasn't on her own because this pretty much all sold out. I am going to revisit the ones that Jamie had on television, but I do know that the stocks are extremely low, if not completely sold out at the warehouse. So it is now down to finding the stockists that have them, and I will let you know who that is a little later on. We've got lots of exciting news, updates, dates, and events going on. So I hope you've got pen and paper, and I hope you're on good terms with your bank manager. So let's dive right in. I'm going to look first of all through the four collections that Jamie had on, was it Saturday? No, it was Sunday. And I did drop in actually to the studio because I was practically going past the door on my way back from Sandown on Sunday. And I thought, well, it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? So I dropped in and surprised everybody, and it was lovely. It was really lovely to catch up. Oh, that's lovely, Kathleen. That'll make a fabulous album. Absolutely gorgeous. Hi, Sue. Welcome, welcome. Right, so let's get right on in because I've got a lot to get through tonight and I don't want to keep you till midnight. So I'm going to switch the cameras and we're going to start looking through these paper pads. I'm going to flick quickly through the ones you've already seen. If you haven't seen, shout and I'll go more slowly. Okay. So I'm going to have a look first of all at this beautiful one. This is the Flowers Melody. The format for the collections is the same in all of them. So you have 12 by 12 pads which retail at $14.99. Superb value. 12 double-sided sheets, 2 of each. Then you have 12 double-sided in the 8 by 8, and you have 24 double-sided in the 6 by 6. Now you might be thinking, well, why would I need all 3 sizes? Well, if you're specifically a card maker and you're not willing to get out of your lane, the 6 by 6 is going to suit you in scale and size. But equally the 12 by 12, because obviously 12 by 12, when you cut it into 4, will give you 6 by 6 panels. The beauty of these designs are that the patterns are scaled. So what I mean by that is in the 12 by 12, you've got the large size, in the 8 by 8, you've got the medium size, and in the 6 by 6, you've got the small size. Hi Kath, hi Angela. Some paper collections, all they do is chop the papers down. So you might get 6 by 6, but the pattern's the same size as the 12 by 12. Which, as I say, if you're only wanting to buy 6 by 6, that's fine. But for me, the way I use paper, this format is better. And these are absolutely glorious patterns. So Flowers Melody, it has a sort of, well, they all have a slightly vintage feel to them, but this is slightly weddingy, perhaps music. And a bonus is that on the back of all of the front covers, and some of them on the back covers, give you ephemera. Absolutely beautiful. Obviously match the collection. They've given you as well a black outline. So if you're somebody that likes to cut out with a margin, it gives it much easier to work out exactly how to do that. I find I can never get that border even when I'm trying to do it. Also, if you're somebody that has a scan and cut and likes to use it, it will help the scan and cut to scan the pattern and give you a clean outline. So I think that is attention to detail, and it's absolutely superb. So that's your 12 by 12 inside front cover, which is almost a bonus. And then there's another bonus on the little bottom strip, which we call an indexing strip. And it gives the indexing, it gives the code name, it gives information, etc. Sorry, I just whacked my phone. You know, the number and everything that you need for the papers to know what they are. However, on the other side, they very cleverly given us these little tiles that we can use. They've given them in Polish because they are a Polish company. And I love that they've considered us and part of the wider world and done it in the English as well. And that's really lovely, because they could have just stuck to what they know and done the Polish, but they haven't, and that's really lovely. That, again, attention to detail is beautiful. So this is the first sheet, and as you can see, there are, oops, oh, I'm going to have to watch this, aren't I? Keep whacking it with the paper. This beautiful arrangement with the birdhouse, and then this gorgeous floral corner. But I love this inky, almost like a mop-up inky background that's given us the rest of the page. So yes, you can fussy cut if you're somebody that likes to do that. If you like to do decoupage, there are lots of ways of using this for decoupage. Absolutely stunning. And on the other side, we've got this beautiful corner with old books, some lace, obviously the florals as well, and a beautiful fob watch up there. Then we have this one, which has got script running through the background. Again, a kind of inky, puddly kind of background, and these glorious blossoms on top of that. On the back of this one, we've got this gorgeous whitewashed wood grain, sort of, I don't know, boardwalky kind of feel to it, which is really lovely. Oh, well done, Lynn. It is, it's stunning. Absolutely stunning. They all are, though. I don't think there's anybody that wouldn't like some of these. I mean, they're just stunning. Then we have another one here. Now this has got these beautiful pink, they're almost like poppies, or they could be peonies that really, peonies don't really open that much, do they? But they're gorgeous, whatever they are. Magnolias, I think these might be, I don't know what they are. I'm not pretty good with flowers, but anyway. Hi Pam. Hi Christine. But yeah, we've got here a lovely little padlock. And we've got some lovely flourishes on the borders here, and then these stunning corners. Now if I was bookmaking, which is something I love to do, I'd be making corner pockets out of these and cutting along this edge and then tucking tags into that. So that's one idea. On the back of this, again, we've got the lovely splotchy inky background, and we've got fabulous climbing clematis, maybe, I don't know. Again, some words on the bottom that you can use for whatever you wish. If you're a card maker, then that is beautiful. And just look at this. This is spectacular. If you do like scrapbooking, then these are going to lend themselves to making beautiful pages that I would have on the cover of a book, or I would frame it, I think, and have it on the wall. So that's your beautiful antique fob watch. And then on the back, you've got an all-over floral, which is lovely for a bit of contrast if you want to be doing some piecing and matching up and things like that. So 2 of those. And then what's also really lovely, and I absolutely love about these collections, is that you get these panels or tiles or postcards, whatever you want to call them. And look at her, isn't she just beautiful? Very elegant, absolutely stunning. We've got frames. These make very easy quick cards because you can just put your sentiment in the middle or a different embellishment. You can add a verse into the middle of here, or you can actually cut the middle out perhaps and create an aperture with that. Absolutely beautiful. And this is gorgeous. Wood grain, again, old planks, but we've got this gorgeous kind of ghost print running through it. Again, you've got some corners and we've got some borders as well. I love these. They just make my mouth water. Then we've got some smaller tiles. So these are going to be lovely for adding onto tags, for adding onto pages, for popping in your journals. You can do journaling on these. That's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? It's just like a picture on its own, that. All these gorgeous frames. That you could cut out if you've got the patience, and they would be stunning. So 2 of those, and then on the back of this one, I love this type of background because it's neutral, you can build on it, it gives you a great starting point. You've got a splotchy, inky, you know, like when you put ink down on your mat and you pick it up, it's that kind of background, and then white script running through it, which is beautiful. So 2 of those, and that's the 12 by 12 in the Flowers Melody. Now the 6 by 6 and the 8 by 8 are going to be the same as far as patterns go, but as we've said, the scale changes. It goes smaller. So, oh, 4 hands. Well, I'm guessing it's got a second, it's got an hour hand and it's got a minute hand, and then it's perhaps got a second hand as well. Do you think? Could be. So this is the 8 by 8, so I'll just flip through this, but look at the back cover. Look at all this ephemera that you get as a bonus, really. And apart from where they've got all the information that they have to put on it, these pieces here are double-sided. So if you want to put them in an aperture and let them spin, you can do that. Or perhaps you want a left and a right of something, and that's going to give you that option. So that's really clever, really well thought out, very impressive. Then we've got that lovely text, and as you can see, it is smaller. And we've got little tiny tiles, we've got the wood grain, then we've got this beautiful lady and the frames again, and the all over floral, smaller in scale. There we've got the gorgeous clock. Yeah, all I can think is that it's a second hand. It must be, mustn't it? So that would go around once in a minute, and these your hours and minutes. I don't know, but there we are. And then we've got the florals with the inky splotchy background. We've got this gorgeous one with, I think they might be peonies, and then we've got the boardwalky sort of sun washed, isn't it? Again, script running through this one with the flowers, and we've got the lovely birdhouse and floral corner. This one again down in scale, so if you wanted a clock you could cut that out. You've got lace and books. That's just beautiful, isn't it? That would lend itself to a wedding, I think, or even a christening perhaps. Smaller tiles again. These are lovely for building up on tags, or for adding into smaller books, journals, etc. Yeah, so we're running through the book. You can see that you get 2 of each of all of those. So that's the 8x8, and that one retails for £9.99, which again is phenomenal value. So yes, Mary, that's why I'm here tonight, to make sure you get over this fear of cutting cutting into your paper. You're not on your own. It's a common thing. People just love it. They stroke it. I actually smell it because it smells gorgeous, and I'm not suggesting people go out sniffing things that they don't know what they are, but I think with me it's just the ink, the smell of the ink. It's just, I don't know, it's gorgeous. Anyway, enough of that. So on the cover here we've got smaller bits of ephemera and that lovely lady that you can cut out and use on her own without the frame that she comes with on the papers. And then we've got our 6x6, which if you wanted to could just go straight onto a card. Perhaps you'd want to build a 7x7 card, then you wouldn't have to cut anything off this, and you could add some mats and layers with some lovely dies, or perhaps just cut this down a little bit, pop it on the front of your card, and then put whatever you want in the middle. Very quick to do, so really lovely. And again, you can really see all the lovely detail as the pattern gets more condensed. They sort of seem to get sharper somehow, and there's that gorgeous clock again. I think that's beautiful. All over flowers, small tabs and toppers. That's the word I'm looking for, toppers. Little toppers here and the wood grain, and then we're back to the beginning, aren't we? So absolutely beautiful. There's that gorgeous little birdhouse. This time it is very small, and the 6x6, and it's the same across all of the collections, is £7.99. So £7.99, 6x6, £9.99, 8x8, and £14.99, 12x12. Really, really great value for such quality papers. Alright, so that's the Flowers Melody. Now I know a lot of you have seen these and you've had them and you bought them when you saw Jamie on the telly, so I'm not going to spend quite so long on this one. The Old Marina. So this is all about going to sea in a ship. We've got our lovely sailor and our gorgeous sailor lady, and there is the old sea dog, or the old mariner if you like, in here as well. This is beautiful, all things nautical. Just look at all of this gorgeous ephemera, and I mean a lot of this you don't have to use with ships. I do love the bottle. You could have your message in a bottle, but we've got a crown, we've got moths, we've got cameras, clocks, there's all sorts. Really stunning. An old typewriter look, and books. And he reminds me of Sean Pertwee. Not Sean Pertwee, who am I thinking of? Oh, it's gone. Oh no, help. Hello, Julia. Aren't they beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. The artwork's phenomenal. I'm thinking of the, oh, it'll come to me. The chap that played James Bond. Scottish Sean. Oh dear. Right. Text all over this background, and it's beautiful. Whether it actually says anything, I don't know. Don't worry about it. There'll be somebody. That's it. Thank you, Sean Connery. Phew. You've saved me. That would have been a worm in my head all night. Hi, Diane. Yes, he reminds me of Sean Connery, but there we are. That's just me. So we've got this beautiful nautical lady, and I love this stack of books. You could use that for absolutely anything, couldn't you? And then on the back of this one, we have got a seafaring map, which is really beautiful. Maps make beautiful backgrounds, great for men's cards. This whole collection is great for men's cards, so if that's something you find you struggle with, this might be one worth looking at. But it isn't just very masculine, it's got a good cross section of all sorts, lots of flowers. I love the compass here. We've seen the beautiful clock, now we've got the compass, we've got some cogs, and we've got this very dishy seaman here as well. And then on the back of this one, we've got another beautiful range of blues with the script going across that. And then we have windows looking out to sea. Isn't that gorgeous? It reminds me of the windows that we did not so long ago with Sue Wilson. In fact, that gives me a whole other idea for the windows collection. Yeah. So we've got lovely tags, we've got strips you can use, we've got circles you can cut out. And you've got this lovely background. Never throw away your scraps. You'll be amazed what you can do with a little bit of paper like that, honestly. And then we've got the sea, the waves, and I can just see this with a bit of sparkle running along the crests of those waves, bringing that to life as well. All right, then we have beautiful roses and forget-me-nots. I think that's what they are. And some more text running through the background, slightly bigger this time. And I do love a good stripe. Here we've got a very distressed stripe in blues and beiges, really beautiful. And I have to say, these papers team up beautifully with the Foundations cardstock as well. So I think Jamie went through that with you on the telly, explaining which colours he chose to go with this. So there's one called Lake Blue, which works particularly well with this collection. But you've got pinks in here. Obviously, you've got your ivories and your creams and what have you. Even greens, you could match it up with a beautiful sage green. So lots of ways to build on this. These little postcards are brilliant, or ATCs. If you like doing ATCs, you could use them for that. But for making little tags to tuck into pockets, if you do like scrapbooking or bookmaking, these are perfect. You could indeed, Mary, that would look stunning, wouldn't it? You could have the lighthouse at the back of the window, you could have the ship at the back of the window, all sorts going on. I love this hot air balloon. Very Phileas Fogg, isn't it? Love that. And on the back of this one, we've got this gorgeous kind of damask effect. I don't know, but that's a nice neutral background. Again, if you're starting from scratch, that's kind of a neutral background to build on. Always useful to have those. And another sheet of that. Then we've got some gorgeous tags and label shapes. I don't know if you can see those. They have a lovely outline to them. Some lovely tags and some sort of, I'd say they're pretty much A6 or ready to go on A6. And then here you get numbers in 2 colours, and obviously you get them on the back as well, which is really clever. More tags and labels and panels. They're just beautiful. I just think this is really gorgeous stuff. And then another sheet of that. So that's your 12 by 12 in your old Marina. And then in the 8 by 8, I'll just show you quickly the inside cover, where you're going to get, I love the seahorse, that's beautiful. Another gorgeous lady, a ship, the lighthouse, another gorgeous clock. And what I love is that they're all different. They could have just used the same clock, but they haven't. They've taken the time to give it a different detail, a different frame. And we've got a mariner's clock and all sorts of gorgeousness going on. Then your papers are going to be the same but smaller, as we've said. Your tags are going to be smaller. So again, beautiful for tucking into pockets, adding photographs onto should you want to. And whilst they're quite detailed on the front with lots of pictorial elements, on the back you have got plain areas where you can add journaling or your sentiment if you're using it as a message inside a card perhaps. On the back cover you've got lots of ephemera, and again you've got that on both sides. So when you cut them out, you get left and right if you wish, or you can have it so it spins, or perhaps you want to put it over an acetate front, so you want the back to look pretty as well. All these things have been thought about. Absolutely wonderful. So that's your 8x8, and then the 6x6. We've got the old typewriter. So it's nice because they give you slightly different ones as well in each of the books. We've got some pearls here as well, obviously coming from the oysters in the sea. And then we've got this beautiful lighthouse. I love that. Other bits and bobs, all sort of seafaring goodies. There we are. So that's your 6x6. So again, $14.99, $9.99, $7.99. Really super value. So that is your old marina. I do want to keep saying marina, but it is marina, so we must say it properly. Right, then we've got, these are the ones that Jamie's already had on TV and have pretty much sold out with the warehouse. So I know Julia's with us tonight, and I know that Julia Watts Crafts has got a lot of these. In fact, I think she said she had them all. So if you're struggling to track them down, there's the heads up. All right, so this is the Sweet Peonies. Beautiful, pretty pastel candy floss sugar palette. And we've got the princess vibe to go with that. So we've got turtle doves, we've got the carriage, this balloon, we've got the charming prince. I prefer a frog myself, but there you go, that's just me. Then we've got another beautiful clock, and another one here, a teapot. I mean, it just goes on and on, all with the black outline to help you cut them out. Stunning. And just look at this, a gorgeous birdhouse here with turtle doves. How pretty is that? We've got here, these really are peonies, aren't they? Another beautiful clock, and this lovely pastel pink sort of splotchy design. I don't think it's anything in particular. There might be birds in there, I'm not sure. And text running through there. And then on the other side, oh, really fairy tale, isn't it, this one? Fairy tale candy floss clouds in that lovely pink and blue, and some white text running through that. And again, you've got some lovely words that you can snip out and add if you wish to. Another gorgeous lady with a fabulous hat, very Jane Austen-esque, and a camera. So again, wedding vibes perhaps, or any special event, garden party maybe. And these lovely clouds again in the background. And then we've got the whitewashed boards, which I love. That's going to be useful for so much. Gorgeous. I'm trying to whiz through, but I keep getting distracted. Then you come on to, again, elements that you can cut out. Beautiful arched windows with floral arrangements. A gorgeous tag here with the lady on. A panel and some circles with another fabulous lady. That's quite Regency, I think, isn't it? And then we've got fairy castles and our handsome prince as well. And a really beautiful ornate kind of brocaded kind of pattern on the back. Really pretty. And there's kind of almost a khaki mustardy colour coming into this one, which gives you other options to bring in different colours, doesn't it? So that's the second one of that sheet. Then again, they give us this all over floral, which is fantastic for creating quick backgrounds. Excuse me. And then adding something plainer on top of gives you the opposite option. And again, a beautiful damask. If you do like dolls' houses, these would make fabulous wallpapers. They really would. There you go. Well, Mary, I've got two in my garden that are very, very old. Our house is Victorian, and so I think they've certainly been there longer than we have. And they're beautiful, and they're a really dark red. They don't get many blooms on them, but when they do, oh, they're stunning. Yeah, really lovely. My favourite flowers. Well, one of my favourite flowers. Now here we've really got some gorgeous picture elements. You've got a kind of floral arbour, again thinking weddings perhaps. I love this, that you could almost imitate an invitation on perhaps. We've got this gorgeous horse. We've got the beautiful vintage car, the typewriter, the grand house, the cake, and again the gorgeous characters. And on the back of this one we've got our blue damask, which is really lovely. But again, they could have just given us the same pattern, one in pink, one in blue, but they haven't. They're all different, and I love that. Yeah, they don't like being moved, Mary. No, they don't. Okay, and then we've got more tiles and tags. So if you're a card maker, these are perfect for just cutting out, embellishing your cards with, using a beautiful background. Pop your sentiment on. Job's done. And again, we've got a gorgeous castle, really beautiful, and a big grand front door, and a pagoda, I think, or a bandstand or something like that, which is lovely. Oh, talking of which, my lovely husband he plays a cornet, and he was playing at Blackpool's Winter Gardens at the weekend. When I was swanning off down south, he was going to Blackpool in a competition and became 9th out of 13, which I thought was brilliant. He wasn't happy, but then he always wants to come first. But I thought they did really well, because the band has only been together for a year, and it was almost going out. They didn't have any members, so he joined up, and look where they are now. It's fab. Gets him out of my hair as well. I don't mean that. All right, so again, we've got lovely A6 or postcard size panels, and some of these you could quite happily rotate onto a different orientation. They don't have to always be vertical. Lots of tags and labels again on this one. The numbers at the bottom that you have on both sides. So really lovely, the fact again that you've got the fancy frontage on here, which you've got the option of either not using and have a plain bit here, or you've somewhere to add your journaling or your sentiment or whatever you want to put there. So I think you'll agree these are just the most delectable papers. So our 12 by 12, $14.99. Let's have a look at what ephemera we get with this one. Again, our lovely characters, beautiful butterflies, lots of gorgeous florals, very big blousy florals, and the lovely typewriter. And then on the back we've got more of those, but they are slightly different. We've got a book this time and a sort of label, and inside you've got the backs of those ones, so those are going to be double-sided, and then you've got all these extras at the top, and I just love that and that and that and that and that. I love them all. So there you go. That's your 8 by 8, your 6 by 6. We have different ones. So we've got a nice posy ring, we've got a little envelope here, we've got a smaller balloon, so you could have one in the distance, you could create some perspective. That's another good reason for having the papers in different sizes, just saying. And then on the back we've got the carriage, the books, the typewriter, the butterfly, and again these ones at the bottom are going to be double-sided, and then you've some at the top that are single-sided. So that's your Sweet Peonies. And finally, from the 4 that Jamie's already brought for you, we have Lavender Love. Beautiful lavender colours, lilacs, limey greens, fresh daisies. Again, we've got birds and we've got a couple. So again, wedding-y kind of vibes for this one. Beautiful ephemera here to be cutting out. We've got some children as well, maybe a page boy, page girl. We've got a car, a cake, everything. It's very, very much wedding celebration kind of vibe to this one. I love this page. This has got text, but I love it's got a divider of lace, and then we've got some washed boards as well. And on the back we've got fabulous brickwork. Ooh, like that. That's the second one. And then we've got another one with text, and we've got our lavender, and we've got beautiful daisies. Gorgeous soft colours here with a little bit of the vibrant lavender That's really lovely. And on the back of this one, we have another beautiful pattern, another damask kind of pattern, I guess. And again, something like this, you could cut around some of these shapes to create beautiful borders, you know, just to ring the changes. Or you could die cut a diamond, you know, square, but turn it on the corner, and use that as a motif. There's lots of ways of using papers like this. Here we've got something a little different. So we've got some proper picture frames and already decorated with our florals. So if you've got other florals like this in the ephemera, you could decoupage up these, make them more 3D. And then we've got our lovely couples. So we could easily make up a wedding album with these, couldn't we? It may be that you want to substitute an actual photo of the couple into one of those, perhaps. Oh, and I like this. Lavender floorboards. That's gorgeous, isn't it? And we've got forever, only with you, love in words that we can use along the bottom. Then we've got the other all over floral with the daisies, the lavender, and I love the limey green of the leaves on this one. It's got a kind of woven background going on behind that, which is really cool. And then we've got the lavender sprigs on the back, really pretty. So these could come in for all sorts of other cards as well as wedding, of course, and albums. We have a plethora of smaller tiles here. Again, possibly suiting ATCs, or certainly for tags to tuck into pockets or for embellishments on a scrapbook page. You've got everything you could possibly want there to record a wedding, haven't you? Just lovely. And on the back of this one, we've got that said woven texture. Really beautiful in soft whites and greys. Yeah, there's some really soft colours in this collection. It's really gorgeous. Then we've got some lovely tags here with actual journaling dotted lines, so you can keep your writing straight. Lots of different shapes. We've got labels here, small tags here, and again A6-ish panels, numbers again, and words. And then on the other side we've got the fancy side, so you've got all the pictorial elements there. You've got the church, and it may be that you just want to record the time, the date, the venue, whatever. You could do that on there. So loads of options and beautiful colours, gorgeous patterns. Everyone has been different so far, hasn't it, which is great. Because again, I've worked with paper pads over the years where they just rejig the same pattern, maybe in a different colour or maybe in a slightly different size. These seem to really work hard to make sure they bring us something different each time, which is amazing, and such good value for all the work that's clearly gone into them. And then we've got the 8x8, and again you've got your gorgeous ephemera at the back of the front of the book. All sorts of bits there that you can cut out, again all with the outer cutting line if that helps you. And on the back cover we've got different ones, more florals and couples, and we've also got the younger children here. So really stunning. That's your 8x8, and then in your 6x6 again, oh, we've got another birdhouse, a lovely camera, a dove. So they are different. There's another little pearl, and on the back we've got a smaller birdhouse, some keys, they're different, and we're bringing in the cake, the rings, the camera, all of it. Beautiful tiny little tags, which again are lovely for tucking in pockets or adding onto your cards, but you've also got the pictures to go out should you wish to. So that's your Lavender Love. Now I know these have sold out pretty much with Jamie, so it's down to finding them at the stockists. So let me tell you who's got them. As we've already said, our lovely Julia Watts has them, and she apparently has a lot. She said, I think I've got them all. Don't blame you, they're gorgeous. So that's Julia Watts Crafts. We have them with Into Craft, Cheshire Crafts, Affordable Crafting, Jilly's Crafts, and Craftmania. So they are the people who have them, and I've got them in stock if you need to track them down and any of those that strike your fancy, or perhaps you missed out on Sunday, or you wished you'd got all 3 sizes and you didn't at the time, whatever the reason, they are available out there. You just have to track them down. So there we are. Now, that naughty Peter sent me not only those, but lots of others as well. So it'd be rude not to show you, wouldn't it? He sent me all sorts. I'm not sure what the state of the stock is, but I do know that the ones he sent me are out in the stockists. So if we've got stockists here tonight, if you've got any of the ones I'm about to show, please do put a link in the comments so that people can find it with you. So let's go back and have a look at some more. The Christmas one was mentioned in Jamie's Monday Night Live. There is only 8x8 and 6x6, as I'm aware, but some shops may well have the 12x12. It's obviously gone somewhere. So do track that down, and it's lovely. And again, same format, we've got gorgeous ephemera, which I love making tags at Christmas, and things like this are just beautiful for adding to your tags. We've got a beautifully friendly looking Santa. He's got a very smiley, happy face, and another gorgeous typewriter. And on the back of this one, we've got lovely, quite retro looking text to this one with all sorts of Christmas greetings. Then we've got a gorgeous reindeer with a jumper on, because why not? Carrying a parcel. Beautiful poinsettias. You just need to add a bit of sparkle to these, and you don't need to do much else, I think. You could use some border dies perhaps. We've got a lovely all over snowflake, and we've got beautiful windows again with village scenes outside. Tags, borders, circles, ready for toppers, just ready to go, really easy. These you could probably cut out with one of Jamie's nesting dies, the layering circles. I'm sure there'd be a size very close to those, because cutting circles out isn't easy, no matter how careful you are. Oh, you've got to have a good plaid at Christmas, haven't you? There you go, nice plaid. Beautiful poinsettias in red and white, that's really lovely. And then a starry background. Got everything here, haven't we? And again, small postcards and toppers. These really are postcards, which is gorgeous. And on the back of these, we have got a text again with the retro sentiments. And then we've got some more tags, labels and panels with numbers. And on the back they're slightly plainer so that you can add your message, your sentiment, whatever it is you want to do with them. So that's your 8x8. Your 6x6 is going to give you lovely ephemera. Oh, it's different as well. Christmas tree, teddy bear, car, parcels, pine cones, all sorts there. Really lovely. A few gems, bit of sparkle. And on the back, oh, we've got a wheelbarrow, we've got a snow globe, some lovely festive foliage, and on the other side we have, obviously the backs are the same but reversed, and then we've got Santa, typewriter and flowers here. Really gorgeous collection. I do not need any more Christmas paper, but you know, these are just coming into my stash. And now we've got another one, which I've only got the 12x12 and the 6x6, which would suggest the 8x8 has gone out there. It's in the ether or on its way to shops. This is called Elizabeth, and again, just beautiful pictures. Another beautiful lady. We've got a cat this time. Gorgeous furry friend. Typewriter and a stack of books, but again it's different from the ones we've already seen. So let's have a look what's on the back of the cover. Oh wow, look at all of those. We've got our 40s, 30s, 40s car, a lovely little sort of satchel style bag. Oh, there's all sorts. Birds, mirrors, tickets, envelopes. Oh, I like the gramophone. That's really lovely. You see that? And a couple of light bulbs. Nice. And then we come to the papers. So we have, again, 2 of each. I'm just going to quickly flick. We've got, I'm assuming this is Elizabeth, but who knows. Beautiful bird sitting amongst the roses there. We haven't had roses before, I don't think, have we? So that's lovely. And then a script on the back. I love the colour palette of this one. Pale aqua, pale pinks and peaches. Beautiful. Then we've got our little cat coming through the window. I love the shutters on this window as well. Very detailed. We've got some crackling going on this particular page. If I can get that to the camera, can you see that? And we've got the typewriter with the bird and some flowers. Yes, Kim, there is no 8x8 because it's gone. So if you want it, it's a matter of finding the stockists that have it. And again, if any of you are there and you've got these, do please let us know. 6 panels, which would quite happily sit on an A6 card. Just chop these up. Maybe a background colour on a card. You're done, pretty much, if you want to make cards. Otherwise, they're gorgeous as elements in journals, as we've said, and albums and such. Another beautiful pattern, and again, it's different from all the others. And a beautiful soft blue in here. So that's gorgeous and usable. And all over floral with roses and little berries. That's really pretty. The colours are stunning. And then on the back of this one, we've got, again, a different pattern. Really beautiful. Yes, I did wonder about the light bulbs, Diane. I tried to resist saying it, but you said it, so. Now, this is gorgeous. We've got a lovely violin, some pretty dancing shoes. We've got a gorgeous post box, another lovely clock, a typewriter, a retro radio, and a stack of books. They're really nice. And then we have, ooh, that's pretty, a lovely tiny swirly blossomy ferny kind of thing. Love that. They're very soft colours, aren't they? Can you see? It's gorgeous. Ooh, so Jamie's saying that they're going to be coming back in. Well, that's good, because I know from what he said, Scrap Boys, like a lot of other paper companies, don't often do, they do one print run and then they stop because it's expensive to do, and then they want to move on and do a different collection. So to be able to have them back is really cool. So if you are looking for that one, maybe go and tickle the ear of your favourite retailer and see what they can do. Alright, so, and some new designs coming in as well. There he is, giving away secrets again. He's very naughty. Now these are great because these are like loads and loads of labels. Maybe you like making handmade things, jams, chutneys, or creating beautiful jars with contents. I don't know, but these would be super for that. But also for adding dates, details, times, places into scrapbooks and journals and other small mini albums and that sort of thing. And on the back of that, you've got your fancy designs. They're beautiful. Some stunning, stunning artwork here. They all are though, aren't they? They really are beautiful. Look at the choices. It's just... I'm not going to sell anybody. I'm not getting involved. If you want to be naughty, it's up to you. But I'm not grassing anybody up. Then we've got the 6x6. Let's have a look at what ephemera we get with this one. Oh, baskets of roses. Boxes of roses. I do like this bag. That's really sweet. Gramophone. Beautiful roses again. And again, look at the small scale of these patterns. How well are they going to work? Together or separately? Ooh, look at all them dinky little things. Now I can see those tucked in here and there on tags, in smaller albums, or just as toppers to create beautiful little details. Really lovely. Those as well, gorgeous. And we've got the damasks, all again reduced in scale. On the back, we've got our married couple, we've got a lovely young lady, we've got a pearl and some leaves, and we're going to have those on the opposite side, so you're getting left and right. And then we've got these that you only get one of because they do have to put all their legal bump on there. So there we go. Nice cup of tea. Even if you just want to send somebody a card saying let's get together and have a cup of tea or whatever, it would be nice. Alright, so that's Elizabeth. Again, reminding you, 12 by 12, 14.99, 8 by 8, 9.99, 6 by 6, 7.99. And then, these are the two I chose when I was allowed to go and get what I wanted. This is a bit of me. Rusty Pack. These are so gorgeous, so clever. They might not for everybody, I know, because not everybody likes grungy, but I quite like this distressed effect. And we've got all sorts of rusty ephemera here. We've even got rusty windows, and we've got beautiful tags with fabulous detail, and we've got old machinery, metal panels, old metal tags, old metal dials, all sorts of things. Love this one. I haven't had time to play yet because it keeps me too busy. Not that I'm complaining. So I'll just flick through these. These have got the most amazing effects of rusty paintwork, rusty metal, textural wall coverings, whatever you want it to be. Aren't they realistic? Really cool. And if we keep saying we struggle for men's cards, these are great for men's cards. You could team this up with Jamie's mechanical collection, with the vintage travel collection, all those lovely cogs and gears with the men's tools, all those sorts of things would work really well in conjunction with this. There is only 12 by 12 available at the moment. I don't know if that's coming in again or if this is going to be it. You'd have to find out again from your stockies. Now this one, it's sort of like old plaster that's all crumbling and cracking and just ready to fall off the wall. It's great, isn't it? Love that. And again, more of a sort of wall texture this, I would say, than metal. Cracking paintwork and all that. Lovely for vintage projects. Absolutely gorgeous. And ooh, I like that. Dark charcoaly colours, very moody. I really do like that. Then we've got this one which looks like it's had something dripping down the wall, doesn't it? And it's going rusty as it comes down and meets with the old plaster work. So clever. I know, Diane, isn't it fab for steampunk stuff? Perfect. This one's cool as well. This has got little splats happening. Got a splat going on in this corner, but we've still got that sort of crazed, cracked effect. Could look like tree trunks, could look like bark. Yeah, definitely. Crispy leaves, perhaps. Just fantastic backgrounds. And I think as well, because these are, all the papers are white core, so if you wanted to run this through an embossing folder and then sand the top off, you could create some fantastic effects like that. You could stencil over, put your waxes on there. So much you can do with these. They're just great. And then we've got another different one. This almost looks like, well, paper maybe that's crumbling. I don't know, but they just lovely. They look as though when you touch them, they'd feel like how they look. But they are smooth. And here's another one, all different again, and different colour palettes, which is great. So you've got some nice stone grey, some concrete, then you've obviously got your rust, and I love that black one. Ooh, and I like this one. And this one's got like little studs in it, little metal studs. Very interesting. I think they're almost photographic. I don't know if they are. They're probably CGI'd, but they look incredible. So there we go. That's the rusty paper pad. 12 by 12 I think is the only one that's available. Perhaps Jenny could let us know if that one's likely to come back or if it's finished, in which case it's down. Track it down with your stockists. All right, and I've just one more to show you before we get on and do some demos. Are we all still okay? You're all still with me? Too much overload, isn't there? All this gorgeousness. So this is Paula's attic. Again, I've only got 12 by 12, so I'm assuming that's all there is. But this is a beautiful one. We've got a little bit more, a very feminine feel, I guess, with sewing. We've got sewing machines, little teacups, another vintage car, another clock. We've got lovely books, cotton bobbins. I love using cotton bobbins on things, and buttons. So if you're into your haberdashery, we've got a gorgeous hat and some cameras. There's all sorts. A lovely little chest full of cotton bobbins there. Gorgeous. So that's your front cover. Then we come into the papers. Now again, we've got different birds, really beautiful. We've got script running across the page, and we've got the most beautiful old-fashioned roses. You know when you get those full-blown roses with the gorgeous scent? That's what we've got on these pages. On the back of this one, we've got some lace. That's nice. We've not seen any lace on, I don't think, have we, before? That's different. And you've got a very usable happy birthday on here. You've got for you and love on your borders. Then we've got, going back to the crackling, not quite so dramatic on this one, but we've got a lovely crackle. Oh, so Jamie's telling us he's got the last of the rusty packs. Grab it before I do. Well, I might just clear him out, because I might need to get them in my shop. So yeah. All right, back to this one. So a lovely crackle surface, and then we've got these lovely floral elements and a lovely border as well. We've got roses and butterflies and little other bits, little blossoms and things tucked in here and there. And I just love the way they're arranged. They're absolutely beautiful. More windows, but again different. So this time we've got window sills with vases of flowers on, whereas the other ones had flowers climbing round them, didn't they? You've got 5 on here, a couple of square ones and 3 tall ones, which is lovely. That's giving you options. And you've got here a whole row of sentiments in English, which is very kind of them, isn't it? So you've got for you, best wishes, I love you, memories and happiness. All in English. That's very nice. And then we've got, oh, that's a nice pattern. That's really lovely. So we've got these fancy sort of flourishes and these like Greek urns. I don't know if you can see it because it's quite a pale colour, but they are really pretty. And all over floral, and I love this because it's kind of fades in and out. So you've got the bright blossoms, and then you've got the faded ones more in the background here, which is really lovely. It makes it slightly softer, doesn't it? And then we've got another beautiful all over pattern. This one a little bit more leafy, almost like a negative. It's like a skeleton leaf, if you like, all over that page. So that's really gorgeous. And it's kind of like a craft brown palette almost, but very soft. And then you've got these glorious apricots and peaches in here as well. So it is a lovely palette. Back to our ATCs or little postcards or little toppers, whichever you want them to be. Because you get 2 of these as well, you can of course decoupage. You could decoupage the violin, you could decoupage the clock. What, you know, there's certain elements you could lift certainly by having the two copies. I love this with the old table and the sewing machine. Isn't that beautiful? So lots and lots to choose from. Ooh, and then we've got this really lovely, it's almost like knitting. It's like yarn. That's lovely. I like that. Very textural. Yeah. And then again, smaller panels with labels, tags, and vertical panels with plain sections that you can write in or add further photographs perhaps. You could fussy cut around here and then tuck a photo in, or you could cut that off and use that as a border on something else. They never have to stay as they are on the sheet. Mary. And then this really lovely old floorboard kind of planks thing. Looks like the floors in our house. That they've all been chopped up and cut off, and yeah, they creak a lot. So there we go. That is beautiful. That is Paula's attic. Only in the 12 by 12, unfortunately, but lots of beautiful elements that are certainly sized that you could use on smaller projects without any bother at all. So don't ever be frightened of going for that 12 by 12, even if you are just a card maker. I don't mean just a card maker, I mean that's what you prefer to make. All right, so what do we think? Are we all drooling? I know I was when I saw all of these. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't choose. So I don't think there's any, I've missed any comments. I hope not. Right, so if you're all still with me and you'd like some inspiration, let's get cracking. And with no further ado, I'm going to start with something a little bit different that you might have seen before, but it might be something that you've forgotten about and you might want to revisit, and that is a paper bag. Now, don't worry, I haven't lost the plot, not quite. I absolutely love paper bags for crafting with. So these are what we call a block bottom bag, and it's what the Americans use for their lunch bags. So they have gussets at the side and they have a block bottom, which make fantastic pockets. These are absolutely brilliant for making cards, pockets, mini books, all sorts of things, and they just give you that little bit of something different. So I'm going to start by gluing this flap on the bag bottom up. So I won't now be able to open the bag, which that's fine because I don't want to open it like a lunch bag. So I'm going to glue that down, and I did have a little hole there, so I'm just going to make sure it hasn't gone through and stuck to the inside. That's fine. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is fold up on this line, and this is going to give me a pocket, but don't forget we've got the bag that makes a pocket as well. So already we've got pocket overload. And now I can start to bring in some papers, and I'm using Vintage Elegance. Have I shown you that one? I don't think I have I? Well, this is the one I've been working with, and unfortunately mine's been got at that much that I probably haven't got a whole pack to show you now. But this is, the palette on this is stunning. It's like a dark, almost a teal, and these coffee tones and peaches and creams. It's just beautiful. I'll show you some of the papers as we go, but I haven't got a huge amount left for you to look at. So right, so we fold up the bag, but don't stick it at this point because we're going to start covering these panels with papers. Okay, so I've got a page here which has the blue planks on one side and a sort of motley coffee colour on the other, and this needs to go in the back first before I glue up my pocket. But also I want to be able to pop something across this like a border, so I need to do all of that before I start sticking anything together. So I've got some lace, but obviously I want some paper as well, so I have this one, and I've already cut everything and I've already inked all the edges because watching somebody ink things is very tedious. So I've got this beautiful coffee coloured lace which is from my own stock, and then I've used Jamie's oval scalloped nesting dies, and this is to me where the smaller sizes really can be used. And I've used the plain edged oval and the scallop edged oval, and I've cut that from sand in the foundations, and then this was from a scrap that I had left after I'd been doing all my chopping and crafting. So this is going to go onto here. Okay, so when you're doing the crafting like this, you sort of have to go with the papers, let the papers do the work. They will sort of help you to make decisions by which patterns you choose, which corners the flowers are on, if there's a floral spray in the corner, or if there's a border that you want to bring in somewhere. The papers have got it all there, and you don't have to really do an awful lot of thinking once you get used to this idea. So have a good look at your papers, and maybe even perhaps create a little aperture so that you can move it around on each page to see what's what and isolate some of the elements, because sometimes there's a lot going on a piece of paper and it's hard to pick out what you actually want to work with. So doing that's one way. That's also a good way of finding the topper for a card, or you know, any form of craft project really. Just make an aperture and move it about. So let's pop this onto here, and we'll stick that down. One thing I will say about paper bags is they're not very uniform, shall we say. They're slightly rough and ready, but I don't mind that kind of shabby look. It sort of suits these papers as well, which is fab. But some of the sides, they're not very straight. One's a bit more baggy than the other. You know, there are little details that alter things, but it's fine. Okay. So it's already starting to come together, isn't it, and look quite pretty. So now I'm going to attach my ribbon, and to do this I'm going to use some double-sided tape. I just find it's the best way to get ribbon to stick, and you can trap it then between either another piece of double-sided tape, or in this case I am going to use glue. But just initially I'm going to want to attach this so that I can then carry on with my project. So if I can get the back off this and just wrap that round the back, that way you've got a lovely neat folded edge to the front of your project. And that applies when you're making cards as well. If you want to use ribbon on cards, pop some double-sided tape beneath one of your layers, one of your mats and layers, so that you can wrap the ribbon around the back of that and hide any rough edges. It just makes everything a lot neater. Try not to pull it too tight, otherwise you could end up with a bit of boomerang on your hands, but you know. Okay, so now I can seal up the sides of this pocket. Remember, it's a pocket, so don't stick the top. If you're likely to forget, you can always make yourself a little note till you get used to it, and then we can stick that. So now we're starting to take shape, aren't we? And we've got our pocket here, we've still got our pocket in the bag there as well, and now we can attach our little medallion, or however you want to word it. No, Mary, a brown DL envelope is not going to give you, well, you could use one, but it's not going to give you this at all effect. But you can certainly use envelopes. I love using envelopes. They're just fabulous. They're another of my favourite things to do. Making them, and again, using scrapbook papers to make envelopes yourself is a great way of using your papers and making sure that your project is all coordinated. And you can actually make albums purely from envelopes. I do that a lot as well, and I just love it. Okay, so we've got our little medallion on there, whatever you want to call it. You could put a flower on there, you could put a 3D embellishment of some sort, or you could put a sentiment. Entirely up to you. I've left mine plain for now till I decide what I want to do with it. Right, so then I want something to go in here, and I decided to go with a tag. So I've started with Jamie's layering tags, and this is the one with the plain edge. What I love about these tags is that they come in pairs. So you have two sizes that work together, because tags are notoriously difficult to layer properly. They just the contours of them don't necessarily follow, and especially when you've got a fancy top like this one. So to have the matching nesting size is absolutely brilliant, and I've never seen it before. And you get about 6 pairs on each set, I think. So you've got the decal edge, the plain edge, and I think the scalloped edge in the tags. And I've just gone with the plain edge. So I've cut this from the sand cardstock, and then I've also cut the smaller size from one of the papers, and I think this was from the 6x6 pad. It's got a very tiny pattern on it anyway. So that's the basis of my tag. Again, I've inked all the edges using one of my favourite distress inks, which is frayed burlap. It's what I would call a grey brown. It's quite soft, and it suits the tones in these papers perfectly. So now I want to dress this tag and create something from all these little bits and pieces. So I spent ages deciding what I was going to use, and I've got my clock, and I've got some flowers. I've got some panels that came as they were. So that's literally just cut from the 6x6 pad. Let me grab the 6x6 pad, and I might be able to show you. So this is Vintage Elegance, and these are some of the bits I've got left from chopping. Again, you get an ephemera, and you're getting these little tiles and things like that, and borders. Some of these papers have actually got borders. That's a border. It's not just cut from a piece of paper. It's actually, well, it is, but it's already a border, if you see what I mean. You've got lovely panels, and these little strips are great as well for adorning tags or the tops of pages, tops of a card, anything. You've got, there you go, you've got a border there, look. So there's some lovely details in this pad. These are all the different patterns, and this is where this panel's come from, off of this page, I think. There are a few actually that give you these panels in this book, so it might be the other one. Let me just check. There we are, it's that one. So it's come from there. But look at all these lovely details you get, and this gorgeous, it's almost like, if you put it that way, it's almost like a really fancy brass plate, isn't it? You know, that you could have somebody's name on, have it embossed. But then you get this gorgeous floral border on there. It's really unusual, really nice. I love it. And you get the 8x8, 12x12, all in the same designs. You get this beautiful pocket watch, and I've actually glazed mine. Can you see that, with a varnish to give it a proper glass looking face. We've got some floral elements that I've cut from the ephemera on the covers. So just picked out a few bits that I thought would suit. Cut them out, fussy cutting. I didn't like having the white edge on this because there is no white in what I'm doing. So I cut it a proper fussy cut and got right down into the detail of it. Again, I'm going to match up with the same sort of lace. So, and I've got a little border from that planked effect wood. I'm going to have it that way, I think. Yeah. So I'm going to attach these now. So I'm going to put this down first. If you do have any questions about anything I've said, or you don't understand these processes that I'm using, please do holler. Right, and I've decided to take that right to the edge of the larger tag. Again, it just adds a bit of a different detail. I could have finished it here with the pattern tag, but I decided to take it right across, because by the time I've got everything on this tag that I'm going to layer onto it, it's going to be quite busy, so it can take those extra, you know, little bits and bobs. So now I'm going to put the lace across here. I've left my lace bigger than I need it to be, so I can trim it afterwards. Or you can leave it hanging off the side if you like that kind of look. Some people do, that is a thing. I'm just going to pop that underneath. The trick with doing something like this is making sure all your elements connect with each other. It's a difficult thing to get your head around, and I see people, you know, they'll put one thing there, one thing there, one thing there, and one thing there, and nothing sort of connects. Slight exaggeration, but nothing sort of connects. And I think things always look better when they're connected to each other. So that's just a little design idea to try and bear in mind. Alright, so we're starting to build the tag. We've already got pretty details happening, but we're going to go further. So now I can start to layer, and I've used Jamie's lacy die from the baby, came with the baby collection, the circles. The one I've used for this, I thought I'd got it here. Bear with me. I have got the crushed velvet paper in this sort of oatmeal colour, and this size of that particular die is perfect for making doilies. So I've used those to create my doily, and then I've just cut a small section to go at the side of this tag. And then I've cut another tag from the page of tags in the 6x6 book. And this one's going to go up here. And then I'm going to put this one here, and I am going to let that just hang over the side. So I need to trim my lace before I do that, otherwise I won't be able to get to it. So just from the back, I'm going to trim off those little bits of lace. As I say, you don't have to. Some people like to leave little pieces extended. It can look quite nice. Okay, so now we've got that. I'm going to pop that on there. I'm switching between my big glue and my little glue here, just depending what I'm sticking down. So that's, you can see that's part of another pattern, and this is when you have to get over being worried about it being double-sided paper. Alright, there's always going to be one side that suits what you're making better than the other. I say to people all the time, it's a piece of paper which started out life as plain white. It just happens to have had some pretty colours put on it and some ink. But other than that, it's just a piece of paper. I don't know if that helps or not, but that's how I try to think of it. Right, and this one, I've put my doily on and I've got foam tape. I've left this section without because it's going to bridge what is now quite chunky with the lace and everything there. So I don't want it to end up bowed like a bridge. So I want it to be able to sit flat. And so I've got those little gaps where it can do that. Let me just get this in the right place. Something like that. So I've now got my doily coming over the edge, which is absolutely fine, not a problem at all. Okay, and then I've got, as I say, the bits and pieces that I've been cutting out. My clock, which I've glazed, and that's going to go here. I found a metal corner, which again was in my own set of crafty drawers, and I'm going to stick that on the corner of this piece here. So let's get that down first, and then I can position the other elements. So although I've already planned this out and I know where things are going to go, I still need to make sure I get them in the right spot. So plenty of glue on that because it is all sort of embossed and there's high spots and low spots, and I don't want it to come off, so make sure there's plenty of glue. And then I've got my flowers. Now I know I want that flower to go there, and I want that tucked under my clock, so that's kind of how I'm going to know where to put things. All right, so I've got one foam, well, double thickness foam pad just on one side of the clock, and again, because I don't want it to be on a tilt, and this is now up, so I want the clock to be up as well. There we go. And then I can start to tuck in the flowers. So that one is just coming up towards the corner. And then I've cut out some leaves, and again that's going to go under the clock. This is why I've not cut them perfectly, because most of it's going to be hidden under there. And then I've got this little daisy, which I just want to give a little bit of shape to. It's a bit flat, so I'm going to bring in my embossing pad and just give it a little bit of a whirl on the mat. It's better. And then I can add that to the picture. There we go. And then I just need to sort out the top of the tag. You always need to finish the tops of your tags with something, and it could be that you just want to pop in a reinforcer, or you might want to add a button or a charm or something up there. I'm going to use the same lace that I've used on the rest of this project. Remember, I've got it on my pocket here, I've got it on my tag here, so I'm going to use it in the top of the tag as well. But lace doesn't lend itself very well to doing a tag top where you put the loops through. So I'm literally going to put one end through and fold it up like this, and then I'm going to have, I've got a little piece of brown cord that I'm going to tie around it like that and knot it in a different way. And before I pull it tight, just make sure I've got it where I want it. Pull that down a bit. And then I can separate the tails. And then you can trim those onto an angle. Just to finish off. Okay, and there we've got a tag. And you've heard me say before, if your mojo's gone west and you can't think of what to do, a tag is just a great little tool. You can do lots of things with tags. You can add more to the back of it depending what you're going to do with it. In this instance, it's going to go into my paper bag. So I've got somewhere there that I could write some journaling or a sentiment or whatever. So I've just left it plain. Sometimes I cover the back with paper as well. Just depends. Oh, my little daisies decided to flirt off. Let me just give that a bit more of a press. There we go. Alright, so there we've got a little tag and we've got a paper bag. And now when we pop our tag in there, it looks inviting and you want to know what's in there, little secrets. And then you can make another panel to go in here. You could make just a square one, or you could make another big tag, or you could put several things in there. You could even put a little mini book in there, or it may be that you want to add some gift vouchers perhaps, or tickets for something. It's entirely up to you. Or it may be that you want to put this whole thing in your journal or your album and use it as somewhere to store photographs. Or perhaps you've got a precious letter and you don't want to actually glue it to anything, or you want to protect it, and you can tuck that in there and it'll keep it lovely and safe. So there we go. Who knew? A paper bag becomes a beautiful decorative object. It's nothing new, paper bags have been around for years, but I haven't done them for a long time, and I thought it was nice to revisit and actually do some proper paper crafting. And I've really enjoyed doing that one. So I hope you like that. And now I'm going to move on to the thing I said I was going to help you, hopefully. If your mojo's gone west, or you just don't know where to start, or you've got double-sided scrapbook paper that you can't bring yourself to cut up, you can't decide which side to use. Oh, the problems. Well, let me try and help. So I'm going to start with a full piece of 12 by 12 from this collection. In fact, before I do this, I'm going to try and show you some of the full sheets I've got left. So this is one of them, and this is the one I'm going to be using. On the back, it's got this fantastic sepia tone with big, I don't know what they are, daisies of some description. And this, again, this mottled kind of coffee looking paper. And on the front, we've got these glorious floral arrangements, and in comes the teal and the peach and the cream and the blue and what have you. So that's one of them. Then we've got the all over floral, which is beautiful, and again we've got these little forget-me-nots, beautiful arrangements of flowers, and on the back of this one we've got a fantastic stripe, really beautiful. So this collection is called Vintage Elegance. I don't know how much of it there is available, or if any stockists have got it, but it is out there, so do try and track it down if you're liking the look of this one. Let me find the rest of the papers. So I've got this one again. I showed you the 6x6 and showed you how you were going to get these lovely elegant panels, and also borders, ready-made kind of borders. You just need to chop them up if you want them for cards. But this panel would look lovely with a couple of photographs, or maybe 3, you know, put down the front, or some journaling on there. Really gorgeous for a big scrapbook page. And then on the other side of this one, we've got another beautiful floral panel with scrolly acanthus type things, and again these lovely old-fashioned roses and things like that. So you have 2 of each of the patterns again in this collection. Then we have this one with the panels that you can cut up. These sizes perfectly usable on cards. This one you could fold into a little wallet. If you fold it into thirds and took it up, you could make like a little envelope pocket, that type of thing. Oh, hi Leslie. So I love this one, and I've used the one out of the smaller pads of this a lot. I just used that one that you saw from the 6x6 on the tag, so they do translate really well. Then we've got another beautiful sepia page, and this one's got an all-round border on it of little scrolling vines, and then the flowers on there as well. What else have I got that's still complete? This one's really lovely as well. Again, those lovely peachy tones, and all these lovely borders in the brown and the coffee and the teal and the grey. Really pretty colour palette, I love it. And this one is just stunning, isn't it? And again, you could be fussy cutting these, creating a beautiful corner element. You don't have to, obviously, you can just put your photos on here if you're doing scrapbooking. But yeah, really superb. What else have I shown you? This one, this one's been got at. I don't know if I've got, oh, I've got a full one. Hang on, I can get to it. There we go. So this one has another beautiful sort of plate. Do you remember I said it looked like a brass plate or something like that, with all this gorgeous filigree? And then you've got the filigree running down the edge, and you've got these lovely lilies running up the side. And on the other side, you've got all these fabulous tags and panels and labels, and yeah, beautiful. And even, you know, lines on to help you if you want to write on them. But great as toppers for cards as well, and great for tucking into little booklets and things like that. So it's stunning. And this one is the front cover, and just look at all the ephemera. So that's the full collection, and that's all the ephemera that you get with this. And of course you get other ephemera in the 8x8 and the 6x6. So there we go. But back to where we were, and I was going to use this one. Right. Now this is not my original idea. I saw this, a lady called, I think she's called May. And I saw something she did on YouTube and I just thought it was a fantastic idea. So I'm happy to bring it to share with you as well. And I'm taking off the indexing strip because we don't want that, but don't forget you have got words you can use, so don't discard that. And then I want to use this. I've decided this is the front. So I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to make sure I know which way is up. So this is the right way up. So you need to know which is your top and which is your bottom. Okay. And I'm going to turn it over. Now, I know this is a lovely pattern on the other side as well, but forget that. Just ignore it. You've got another sheet of it if you're in love with it, but for this purpose, just ignore it. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to turn this sideways and I'm going to cut my panel into 6 inches, so halfway. And make sure you keep it straight. Okay, so this was the top. Remember, this was the top, this was the bottom. Cut it in half. Now I'm going to turn it this way and I'm going to cut them into 4 inches. So I can go 8 and then 4, or you can go 4 and 4 again, whichever you find easier. So 4 inches, 4 inches. So I've now got 6 by 4 inch panels. And I'm still looking at the back. I'm not looking at the front. I'm not going to look at the front. Alright. Now I have got here some that I've mounted already onto cards. So the process that you need to go through is to decide if you want to mount them with a border or not. I decided I would, so I chose some colours that suited and I went from there. So I chose the lake blue from the foundations and the hazelnut. Both these colours work perfectly with the colours in these papers. Alright, so what I did, I got my card blanks, and I've actually used an A2, so it's slightly shorter, so I did trim a little bit off each of these, but you can use an A6, it doesn't matter. Decide on the size. If you want it slightly smaller and you want to add another contrasting colour, you'll need to trim a little bit off these, or make a slightly bigger card. You could go up to 7 by 5. Alright, and then what you're going to do is you're going to put glue on this, and only then are you going to turn it over and attach it to your card. Now, as I say, these are slightly bigger than I wanted them to be, but that was just so I could show you how I'd cut it. So I didn't know what that was going to look like when I turned it round. I mounted it onto the blue and then I've mounted the paper, and it's pretty, isn't it? Now if I'd been sat looking at that sheet of paper, I would have dithered about, well, I want this bit, or I want this bit, and I would have probably wasted quite a lot of the sheet. But by doing this, you use the whole sheet. It's random what you get, but it always works. It's like magic. It always works. And this particular card, I decided could go landscape. So I like that it's got this little detail up here and it's got a border on the left hand side. I find that pleasing. And then I have this one, which is very plain, and this obviously was a bit that came from the middle of the paper, but I've still got this lovely border, and I've got some little leaves, and I can do something with that, so that's fine. Now these two I decided to turn over because the backs of them were so beautiful. I thought I'll use two that are actually the other side of the paper. So if perhaps you have got something that isn't quite working for you, do use the other side if you wish to. So again, this one, it can go with the border running up the side, or it can go with the border running along the top. I haven't decided till I decide what I'm going to embellish it with. And then here's this one, which is actually this one. You can see I've trimmed it down a little bit and added the hazelnut cardstock. Now those on their own, there are another two, but they're already finished and I don't want to show you them just yet. So you get 6 cards out of that. It takes you about 20 minutes to do it, if that. You don't have to make decisions, don't think about it, just do it. And then you've got, these are beautiful as little notelets. You don't have to do anything to them if you don't want to. Add them some envelopes and away you go. So I've got my 4, 5, 6 that are already done, and then I started to build elements and decide what was it I wanted to add into these. So for this one I chose a really lovely topper from one of the cut apart sheets, and I've stamped on it with Jamie's floral lace sentiments. This is a lovely verse, sending you all the wishes in the world for the happiest year ahead. So I've stamped that directly onto the topper, and then I thought, well, it needs a bit of something else, so I've got the lake blue here, and I decided to put some lake blue behind this as well. I've added some little pearls to the corners. Now the biggest decision I've got to make is, do I want it flat or do I want it raised up? I mean, it's not a major decision, but you might decide you want it raised up, you might decide you don't. If you're going to pop it in the post, you might think, no, I'm not going to lift it up on foam. That's absolutely fine, but you have a choice. And so just add the topper on. I could have punched the corners to match with a little corner inverter, but I like the idea of adding the pearls onto that, and so that can go there now, and it fits beautifully with the rest of that composition. But I haven't really had to do anything, I haven't had to think about it too hard, but I'm really pleased with that. It's pretty. So I'm going to add this on flat, because there isn't really any of the other elements that's raised on this card, so it's not going to look out of place or anything like that. All I'm checking is, I want it offset, so I'm checking this border and this border to get those something like equal. I didn't want to cover up too much of that because it's the only detail there is on there. And there you go, one card done. Alright, so that's one. Next, I can't quite remember what I was doing with this one. I think this was the one where I've gone a bit fancy. Say what, I'm going to do the others first, and then I can remember. Oh, this one. Right, I know what I'm doing with this one. So this one, there's quite a lot of florals. It doesn't really need much other than perhaps a sentiment. So I cut one of the words from the border strip at the bottom of the page, and I cut a little tile panel, a little sort of label. Again, these are from the 6x6, and I've added the happy birthday to that, and then I've inked at the edges again, and I was just simply going to pop that there, and I thought actually it looks a little bit too plain, I need something else. So I've used the peach cardstock and one of Jamie's sentiment label dies to create another label that I can sit this label on. The shape's complementary, the colour's complementary. I've added some little pearls, and that just gives it a lift. That little bit of peach just gives it a little bit of extra. So let's attach this now. And that's a happy accident. The back of that's quite nice as well, although that's not the side I'm using, but you could do. And I would never have thought of cutting that bit out and making a label out of it, but now I look at it I think, oh, that's really nice, but that's not the bit I want. So let's get that on there as evenly as we can, and then I've got foam tape on this one. I'm going to pop that about there. Okay, and then I've fussy cut some of the flowers, one of the little arrangements, and I've got some foam on the back of this, and that's just going to tuck over the corner there. And there's the second one done. Okay, pretty cards, easy peasy, not to think too hard, nothing too traumatic, hopefully. It's cutting the paper that causes the issue, isn't it? So on to the next one. I've got my bits and pieces for this, all of which have come from the paper. And this was for this one. Alright, so again, I've decided to use it at the top. And then this, if you remember, we had those lovely little border strips on some of the pages. I've cut one off, very small, that was from the 6x6. I've cut another label, and this is a larger version. I think this was from the 8x8, and I'm going to pop that in the middle of the card there. One of the words off the strip there. And we're starting to see it come together already. So let's get this down. I do like little thin strips of paper to use as borders. I don't know why, but I do. So there we are. I'm going to stick my congratulations word on here. Mandy, that's not the idea, lovely. You've got to let them go. I know what you mean though. They're too gorgeous, aren't they? We just want to keep them. No, you can't have them. They're mine. I say that about a lot of my stock though. I don't want to let it go. It's mine. You can't have it. Yes, paper stroking, it's a thing. Paper stroking, paper sniffing. Alright, so I've got congratulations on there. I'm trying to get it straight, that's why I'm faffing. There we go. And I've got foam on this one as well. So that's going to go right in the middle there. And then again, I've got some little flowers that I've cut. And I want these to bridge between that label and that little border, and that's quite an important design thing for me, that things connect, because that's alright but it looks a bit like blocky, it's disjointed. So by adding something that links them, it makes all the difference. In my head, you don't have to agree with me, this is the way I think and design, but everybody's different. And then I'm going to add a couple of little daisies, if that's what they are. I'm not sure what they are, to be honest. Sorry. It's saying my live stream is having performance issues. I know the feeling. But is anybody having issues? Can you all still hear and see me? Nobody's mentioned it, so I don't know. These things are sent to try us. And then another little one just up there, like that. So if there are any stockists watching who need ideas for workshops, this is a good one, because you just give everybody a sheet of paper, make them cut it up without looking at it, and then they just have to get on with it. So there we are, there's number 3. How quick are these? And they're super, aren't they? Right, number 4. This one, I did go a little bit more fancy on this one. Nothing too drastic, but I just did a little bit more. So I've cut out a label. Again, I think that was from the 6x6. I can never decide which way these want to be. That way or that way. Does it matter? Probably not. And that's where I started, with a label, and I thought, right, that needs to go there. And then I thought, but it needs a bit more of something. So I got my thinking cap on, and I found, again, the doily from Jamie's baby die, and I thought, well, that would look nice with a little bit of that peeking out underneath. So I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to put some glue on this first, and then a little bit up here. You don't need a lot, it's not going anywhere. And then try and get it sort of even. Yeah, there we go. And then that can go on there. And then I cut out one of these lovely floral panels, and I've made a little bow, and I cut out For You, which I'm going to pop in the middle of there. So I need some foam in the middle of there. Sorry, I thought I'd done all these. Just going to layer a couple of pieces up so it's got a bit of height. Oh good, nobody's having any issues. Just Facebook then. Sounds about right. Honestly. Don't know what they're doing, do they? They have to keep changing things, don't they? Why can't they just leave us alone? I just get used to something, then they have to change it. They've always got to be fiddling. Right. I guess that's technology. It moves on all the time, doesn't it? So I'll pop that there. Let's pop the For You. Eek. Oh, come on. All fingers and thumbs. Come on. Let's get that in the middle. They're great, these little words. When I first looked at them, I thought, I'm not going to use those. But I found they really, really are helpful. And they're quite nice. They're not too random. You've got a happy birthday on one of the sheets. You've got For You, you've got best wishes. And then you've got some more sort of arty ones. Really good. Alright, so that's that. And then I'm going to put a flower. I don't know, where should we, a little bit down there, I think. Yeah, pop it there. And then a bow at the top. Just there. Okay, and that's number 4. And as I say, I have already got 2 that I did, because I thought if you sat and watched me make 6 cards, you'd probably lose the will to live. So I did do a couple ahead of time, and I'll bring those in now and show you what I've got. So here we are. So this paper had all of this detail already on it. A best wishes from the sentiment at the bottom. I've cut a flag die from Sue Wilson's. Let me find it. I thought I'd show it you in case some of you might have it, or you might want to go looking for it. I know it's not available from Creative Expressions anymore, but it's Frames and Tags Pierced Flags, and it's CED 4304, and it has a pierced detail on the edges of these two, and this one has an open end so you can make it as long as you like, and I've used the little one in this set. So if anybody's interested to go and find that, it's a nice set to have, and it comes in ever so handy for things like this, because I had a blank panel down this side and I thought it just needed a little bit of something to fill it. So I've cut the paper with the tag die, and then I've cut a matching mat by hand to go underneath it, a little flower from the ephemera sheets, and a sentiment. That's all that one's got on it. But doesn't it look like a beautiful fancy card? It's all in the papers. That's what I say, let the papers do the work for you, and you'll be laughing. And then here's my last one, and again, cutting up the paper ended up with, gave me a corner. I think this was from the top left hand corner of the sheet, but remember I wasn't looking at it when I cut them up, and it had a blank section here. So I cut out one of the little tablets, added some thread at the top, added another one of those little words and some little pearls here and here, and cut out one of the butterflies, and I've glazed the butterfly there. So there you go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beautiful cards from one sheet of 12 by 12. Now tell me you don't want to chop your papers up. Don't you dare. No, but seriously, if you've got papers that, maybe you've got papers that you don't really know how to use, this might be something that you can get out of them. Doing it as a mystery, having the back facing you, is fun, because you just don't know what you're going to get. But trust me, it works every time. As long as you remember which is the top and bottom of your paper, you cut it in half along the height, so you get 6 inches, and then 4 inches, 4 inches, so you end up with 6 6x4 panels. Then decide if you're going to go slightly bigger on your cards, or cut your panels down a little bit to go on an A6 card, and then decide if you're going to add another mat, and then dig out some ephemera or some embellishments that I know you've all got, and off you go. 6 quick little cards, but still really pretty, and all the elements pretty much have come from that one sheet of paper and some of the ephemera in the pads. So I hope that's given you pause for thought, and it might just give you somewhere to go next time you're feeling a little bit stuck. But I'm really happy with those. I'm going to pack those with some envelopes, and that's going to make a beautiful gift for somebody. All right, so let me show you just a little bit more inspiration, and then I think I'll need to let you go. So here's a tag. You know me, I love my tags. I've already done a tag tonight, but this is one I did on one of Jamie's beautiful large MDF. Angela, go and do it. Go on. And we want to see what you've made. Please share it on the Creative Expressions page. Any of you that go ahead and try this technique, I'd love to see what you come up with, because it's just magic. Honestly, you'll be addicted. You'll be chopping all your paper up. Anyway, back to this MDF. Right, so this is a big tag. This is absolutely gorgeous, and I haven't covered the back yet because I don't know if I might turn this into a book cover. I don't know yet, but I always cover the backs anyway. So I've covered it with a sheet of paper that had some flowers coming up this corner. One of those lovely little borders that's already a border, just cut it out. Added the doily again under here and here. Some lace and some pearls. Cut out some flowers, cut out a clock, a big panel and a little tag and a butterfly. And then all I've added of my own is some ribbon and these little embellishments, which were hiding in my stash and have been there, I dread to think how long. Any of you remember Melissa Francis? Well, they were from her. A corner and a little lock and key. But I was really happy with the way that came out. And again, beautiful colours from the papers, beautiful patterns, and easy to do. Just need the ideas, don't you? That's the thing. And then I did have another little project for you, but I'm going to keep that for another time because I hadn't realised how late it had got, so I do apologise for keeping you so long. But I hope you've enjoyed that, and let me come back to you. Where's my thing gone? There we are. Hello. Yes, so I've got another project that I really want to show you, but we'll save it for another time. I think we've all agreed we love these papers. They are stunning, aren't they? Do search out your retailers. Let me give you the list again of who's got them in case you weren't here. Into Craft, Cheshire Crafts, Julia Watts Crafts, Affordable Crafting, Jilly's Crafts, and Craftmania. And I know some of those ladies and gents have been with us tonight, so thank you for joining us. Thank you all for joining us. I am going to give you some dates and then I'm going to go. So, Monday coming up, Jamie is going to be teasing you all again. He's a naughty boy. He has got a new collection coming out and he's going to give you a sneaky peek on Monday, so don't miss out on that. And then he is going to be having it on Hobby Maker on Thursday the 12th of March. So that's a new release from Jamie, so don't miss that on Monday. Sunday at 12 o'clock, we have a regular feature now of our DT chat. And this is a place where you can get to know our DT members, you can ask them questions, and it's not live. It's just, you know, they'll be there like watching for questions and things like that. So come in and have a chat with them, get to know them a little bit better, ask them anything you want to know. Then March the 14th, I'm sure you haven't heard anything about this at all, but I'm having a demo day, a rather splendid demo day, here near my shop. It's in the church hall just across the road up in Saddleworth. All the information is on my website, www.thestamppad.co.uk, and just look at the events on the top bar, and all the info is there. You do need a ticket to be able to come in, but they're only a fiver, and we keep you fed and watered all day long. And I have got, well, 5 professional demonstrators and me who are going to be doing some amazing things. So we have got our lovely Jamie, of course, coming to do Jamie Rodgers Crafts, which is incredible. I've got Francoise coming from Woodware. She's going to be showing off her beautiful stamps. And then I'll be doing a bit of creative expressions. We've got Joe Rice coming from Lavinia Stamps, hugely popular brand, and Joe's a fabulous demonstrator. We've got Sharon Curtis, who demos for Sizzix, but she has her own brand of Evelyn and Sage journaling, so she'll be doing a bit of that. She's also going to be doing a little bit of creative expressions. And we've got Carla Bagshaw, who is a phenomenal crafter, and she's bringing her own range of cut by hand, which is quilling, and she does modern quilling, and it's beautiful. She's converted me back to quilling, and I'd gone right off it. So all those fabulous people all in one spot for a fiver. Come on in. I have to say, I haven't sold very many tickets, which is rather disappointing, so please help me spread the word, and let's get, I know a lot of you that watch me now, you're too far away, and I understand that, that's not, you know, you can't help that, but yeah, let's just spread the word and get these people in through the door, please. So that's March 14th. We are doing make and takes, which are all booked up, but I have got a wait list, and there is a possibility there might be extra places. So if anybody wants to, again, the information's on the website for you to find out. Right, I think that's it for all my news. Sharon is doing the DT chat this Sunday, so pop on in please on Creative Expressions and have a natter with Sharon. She's a lady with years of experience behind her, and I'm sure she's willing to share it with you, as we all are. So that's Sharon at 12 noon on Sunday. Thank you so much. I've had a lovely evening paper crafting with you, and I can't wait till next time. So until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye for now.